Welcome back. If you were here for the last story, you heard Psalm 23. You heard about still waters, about green pastures, about a shepherd who walks beside you through the darkest valley and never lets go. Tonight, we go deeper, because tonight we meet a man who lived every word of that psalm before the psalm was ever written. A man who was thrown into a pit by his brothers, sold into slavery in a foreign land, falsely accused and forgotten in prison. And yet, through every dark valley, the shepherd was there, guiding, providing, restoring. If Psalm 23 gave you the promise, this story gives you the proof. This is the story of Joseph. Let your body settle now. Feel the weight of your limbs. Let your shoulders fall. Let your hands open. Take one slow breath in. Hold it gently and let it all go. There is nowhere you need to be, nothing you need to solve. Just this story, just this night, just rest. Long, long ago, in the hill country of Canaan, there lived an old man named Jacob. Jacob had lived a full and complicated life. He had known great love and great loss. He had wrestled with God through a long, dark night and walked with a limp ever after. He had 12 sons, 12 strong young men who herded his flocks across the hillsides of Canaan. But among them, one son held a particular place in Jacob's heart. His name was Joseph, 17 years old, quiet, thoughtful, with eyes that seemed to see more than most people noticed. To show his love, Jacob gave Joseph a gift, a long, richly ornamented coat, woven in deep colors, crimson and violet and gold. When Joseph wore that coat, the sunlight caught it as he walked through the fields, and his brothers watched. They watched the way Jacob's eyes followed Joseph, the way his face softened when Joseph entered the room. And something small and sharp began to grow inside their hearts. It started as a whisper. It grew into a storm. Now Joseph had dreams. Not the ordinary kind. Not the kind that fade before breakfast. Joseph's dreams were vivid and full of meaning, and he could not keep them to himself. One night, he dreamed they were all in the fields, bundling grain into sheaves. And his sheaf rose and stood upright, while all his brothers' sheaves gathered around it and bowed down. He told his brothers. Their faces went cold. "Do you intend to reign over us?" they said. Their voices were flat, dangerous. He had another dream. In this one, the sun and the moon and 11 stars were bowing down to him. Even his father was troubled by this one. "What is this dream you had?" Jacob said. "Will your mother and I and your brothers actually come and bow down to the ground before you?" His brothers burned with jealousy, but Jacob kept the dreams quietly in his heart. turning them over, wondering. A few weeks passed. Jacob's sons had gone north to graze the flocks near Shechem. Jacob called Joseph to his side. "Go and see how your brothers are," he said warmly, "and how the flocks are doing. Come back and tell me." Joseph put on his coat of many colors and walked north into the hills. He walked for days. The sun was warm. The road was long. He followed his brothers all the way to a place called Dothan. And when his brothers saw him coming from far away, that coat catching the light across the fields, they recognized him. And the whispering began. "Here comes the dreamer," one of them said. The words were not kind. "Come," said another, "let's kill him and throw him into one of these cisterns. We can say a wild animal devoured him. Then we'll see what comes of his dreams." But the oldest brother, Reuben, shook his head. "Don't take his life," he said quietly. "Throw him into this cistern here in the wilderness, but don't lay a hand on him." Reuben planned to come back later to pull Joseph out, to send him safely home to their father. When Joseph arrived, smiling, carrying his father's warm greeting, his brothers grabbed him. They tore the coat of many colors from his shoulders and threw him into the pit. The pit was empty, no water, only cold stone walls and darkness. Joseph called out. His brothers sat down to eat their meal. In the pit, Joseph went very still. He had no coat now. The stone was cold beneath him. Above him, through the narrow opening, a small circle of sky. Stars beginning to appear, unchanged, quiet. There, in the dark, a 17-year-old boy looked up at the sky his father had always said was full of God's promises, and wondered if any of them still applied to him. They did. He could not see it yet, but the shepherd had not left the valley. A caravan of merchants appeared on the road, Ishmaelite traders heading south to Egypt, their camels loaded with spices and goods. Judah looked at his brothers. "What will we gain if we kill him?" he said. "Let's sell him to the Ishmaelites. He is our brother, our own flesh and blood." For 20 pieces of silver, Joseph was lifted from the pit and handed to strangers. The caravan moved south toward Egypt. Joseph walked with them. He looked back once at the hills of Canaan, at the green hills where he had grown up, where his father's tents were, where everything familiar still lived. His brothers took the coat. They dipped it in the blood of a goat and brought it to their father. Jacob looked at the coat. His hands trembled. "It is my son's robe," he said. "A ferocious animal has devoured him." And Jacob tore his clothes. He put on sackcloth. He mourned for his son for many days. "I will go down to the grave mourning for my son," he said. The coat lay in Jacob's hands, empty, silent. In Egypt, Joseph was sold again, this time to a man named Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, a powerful man in a powerful land. Joseph was now a slave. He was 17 years old. He had nothing. No family within reach. No coat. No name that anyone in Egypt knew or cared about. And yet, something in Joseph did not break. He could have grown bitter. He could have turned inward and hard. He could have done the minimum required of a slave and saved nothing of himself for anyone. Instead, he worked with his whole heart, as if the work itself mattered, as if being faithful in the small things was worth doing even when no one important was watching. And Potiphar noticed. He watched this young Hebrew man. He saw how everything Joseph touched seemed to go well, how the household ran more smoothly under his care, how there was something steady and trustworthy in him, something that could not be fully explained. So Potiphar gave Joseph more responsibility, then more, until eventually Joseph was in charge of everything Potiphar owned. The scripture says simply, "The Lord was with Joseph." Not because his circumstances were good. They were not good. He was a slave in a foreign country. But the Lord was with him in the work, in the ordinary days, in the place he had not chosen and would not have chosen. The shepherd does not only walk with us on the good paths, he walks with us in Egypt too. But then trouble came again. Potiphar's wife told a lie about Joseph, a cruel and deliberate lie. And Potiphar, believing her, had Joseph thrown into prison, into the dark again, this time behind stone walls and iron bars, a dungeon beneath the city. Cold, confined. And Joseph had done nothing wrong. He had been faithful. He had been honest. He had resisted what was wrong, even at great personal cost. And this was his reward. Have you ever been there? In a place you did not deserve, because you did the right thing? Where faithfulness brought consequences instead of reward? Where the ceiling felt low and the walls felt close, and the questions had no good answers? In the prison, Joseph remained, but what he did not do is remarkable. He did not allow bitterness to take root. He did not build walls around his heart to protect what little was left. He remained open, present, available. And again, the same quiet phrase appears in the story. The Lord was with Joseph. Even here, even in this. The prison warden noticed Joseph. He put him in charge of all the prisoners. The man who had been thrown away by his brothers, sold by merchants, falsely imprisoned by a powerful man, still rose. Not because the circumstances were fair. They were not fair. But because something in him refused to be defined by what had been done to him. One day, 2 new prisoners arrived. Pharaoh's chief cupbearer and his chief baker. They had somehow displeased the king, and one morning Joseph came to check on them and found them troubled. "Why do you look so sad today?" he asked. "We both had dreams," they said, "and there is no one to interpret them." Joseph sat with them. "Tell me your dreams," he said gently. "Interpretations belong to God, but tell me." The cupbearer told his dream first. a vine with 3 branches, blossoming, grapes ripening, pressed into Pharaoh's cup. Joseph listened carefully. "The 3 branches are 3 days," he said. "In 3 days, Pharaoh will restore you to your position. You will place his cup in his hand again, just as before." Then he added quietly, "But when things go well for you, please remember me. Mention me to Pharaoh. Get me out of this prison. I was forcibly carried off from the land of the Hebrews, and I have done nothing here to deserve being put in a dungeon." He said it simply, not bitterly, just honestly. 3 days later, exactly as Joseph had said, the cupbearer was restored to his position beside Pharaoh. He picked up the cup again, felt the gold in his hand, breathed the clean air of the palace, and forgot about Joseph entirely. 2 more years passed. 2 years later, Pharaoh himself had a dream. He was standing by the Nile River. 7 fat, healthy cows came up from the water and grazed in the green grass. Then 7 other cows came up, thin, gaunt, terrible to look at, and the thin cows swallowed the fat ones whole. Pharaoh woke up, fell back asleep, dreamed again. 7 full, healthy heads of grain on a single stalk. Then 7 thin, scorched heads sprouted and swallowed the healthy ones. Pharaoh woke again, deeply troubled. He called every wise man and magician in Egypt. None of them could tell him what the dreams meant. And then the cupbearer remembered. He stepped forward. "I should mention my failures today," he said. 2 years ago, Pharaoh was angry with his servants. There was a young Hebrew man in the prison. I told him my dream, and he interpreted it perfectly. Everything happened exactly as he said. Pharaoh sent for Joseph immediately. Joseph was brought quickly from the dungeon. He shaved, changed his clothes, and walked into the presence of the most powerful ruler on earth. Pharaoh looked at him. "I have had a dream," Pharaoh said, "and no one can interpret it. But I have heard it said of you that when you hear a dream, you can interpret it." Joseph shook his head gently. "I cannot do it," he said. A pause. "But God will give Pharaoh the answer he needs." Pharaoh told him both dreams. Joseph listened, completely still. Then he spoke. "The dreams of Pharaoh are one and the same," he said. "God has revealed to Pharaoh what he is about to do. The 7 good cows are 7 years. The 7 good heads of grain are 7 years. The 7 lean, ugly cows are 7 years. And the 7 worthless heads of grain are 7 years of famine. 7 years of great abundance are coming throughout the land of Egypt. After them, 7 years of famine will come. The famine will ravage the land. The reason the dream was given to Pharaoh twice is that the matter has been firmly decided by God, and God will do it soon." Then, without being asked, Joseph offered a plan. "Find a wise and discerning man. Store 1/5 of the harvest during the good years. Build storehouses in every city so that when the famine comes, there will be enough." Pharaoh looked at his officials. The room was silent. "Can we find anyone like this man?" Pharaoh said slowly. "One in whom the Spirit of God lives?" He turned back to Joseph. "Since God has made all this known to you," he said, There is no one so discerning and wise as you. You shall be in charge of my palace. All my people will submit to your orders. Only with respect to the throne will I be greater than you." A young man thrown into a pit by his brothers. Sold for 20 pieces of silver. Imprisoned without cause. Forgotten for 2 years in a dungeon. Was now the second most powerful person in Egypt. 30 years old. 13 years after the pit. The valley had been long and dark. But the shepherd had never left. The 7 years of abundance came and went. Joseph rode across Egypt, overseeing the harvest. The grain was stored in quantities beyond measuring, like the sand of the sea, too much to count. Then the famine came, just as the dreams had said. It spread across every country. People came to Egypt from all over the ancient world to buy grain, because only in Egypt was there food. Far to the north, in the hills of Canaan, Jacob heard there was grain in Egypt. He looked at his sons. "Why do you just keep looking at each other?" he said. "I have heard that there is grain in Egypt. Go down there and buy some for us so that we may live and not die." 10 of Joseph's brothers made the long journey south. Benjamin, the youngest, Joseph's own full brother, stayed home. Jacob could not bear to send him. He had already lost Joseph. He could not risk losing Benjamin, too. The brothers arrived and were brought before the governor of all Egypt. They bowed down with their faces to the ground. Joseph looked at them. He recognized them. 22 years had passed. Their hair was different. Their faces were older, lined with time and difficulty. But he knew every one of them. He knew the set of Reuben's shoulders, the way Judah stood, the sound of their voices. His heart ached. Something cracked open in his chest. But he did not reveal himself. Not yet. He spoke through an interpreter, as if he did not understand their language. He spoke harshly. "Where do you come from?" "From Canaan," they said, "to buy food." "You are spies," Joseph said. "You have come to see where our land is unprotected." They protested. "We are all the sons of one man," they said. "We are honest men. We are 12 brothers. The youngest is now with our father in Canaan, and one is no more." One is no more. Joseph turned away. He could not let them see his face. He breathed slowly, steadied himself. He kept Simeon in custody as a guarantee. He told the others to bring back their youngest brother to prove their story. He sent them away with grain, and secretly, he put each man's silver back in his grain sack. A hidden gift from a brother they did not yet know was still alive. Eventually, the famine forced Jacob's hand. He had to send Benjamin. "If I am bereaved of my children, I am bereaved," he said quietly. The brothers returned to Egypt, this time with Benjamin, and double the silver. When Joseph saw Benjamin, his own full brother, the son of the same mother, Something broke inside him. He excused himself quickly. He went to a private room and wept. Quietly. Deeply. 22 years of tears. Then he washed his face, composed himself, came back out. He hosted them for a meal. He seated them in exact order of their ages. And the brothers looked at each other in astonishment. How could this Egyptian lord possibly know their birth order? He gave Benjamin 5 times the portion of food that the others received. And they ate and drank, and for a little while, without knowing why, they felt safe. But Joseph had one more test. He needed to know who they had become in 22 years. He needed to know if they would protect Benjamin or sacrifice him the way they had sacrificed him. He had his silver cup hidden in Benjamin's sack, then sent men racing after them on the road. The cup was found. The brothers were brought back. They fell before Joseph on the ground, and then Judah stepped forward, the same Judah who had suggested selling Joseph for silver. He stood before Joseph and spoke. He told him everything about their father, about how Jacob's life was bound up in this youngest son, about how the old man would die of grief if Benjamin did not return. And then Judah offered himself. "Let me remain here as your slave instead of the boy," Judah said. "Let Benjamin go back with his brothers. How can I go back to my father if the boy is not with me? I cannot bear to see the grief that would come upon my father." Joseph could not hold back any longer. He sent every attendant out of the room. He was alone with his brothers. And then he wept, so loudly that the Egyptians outside could hear it. He wept from somewhere very deep, the kind of weeping that has been waiting a long time. "I am Joseph," he said. 3 words. His brothers stared. They could not speak. They could not move. Terror filled their faces. "Come close to me," Joseph said gently. They came closer. He looked at each of them. "I am your brother Joseph," he said, "the one you sold into Egypt." He paused. "Do not be distressed. Do not be angry with yourselves for selling me here, because it was to save lives that God sent me ahead of you. It was not you who sent me here, but God. Not you, but God. 22 years of pain, the pit, the slavery, the prison, all of it rewritten, not erased, rewritten, given meaning, given purpose. The valley of the shadow had been leading somewhere all along. The brothers went back to Canaan. They arrived at their father's tent. Jacob looked at them. Something in their faces had changed. "Joseph is still alive," they told him. "He is ruler of all Egypt." Jacob's heart went cold. He could not process it. 22 years of grief. 22 years of believing his son was gone. He could not let himself believe it. But they kept talking. They showed him the wagons Joseph had sent. They told him everything Joseph had said. But slowly, like dawn coming after a very long night, Jacob's heart began to warm again. "It is enough," he said at last. He was very still for a long moment. "My son Joseph is still alive. I will go and see him before I die." The family gathered everything they had. 66 people made the journey south to Egypt. When Joseph heard his father was coming, he got into his chariot and rode out to meet him in Goshen. He rode fast, faster than was necessary. When he saw his father, he fell on his neck. He wept there for a long time. Jacob held his son. He held him the way you hold something you believed was lost forever, with both hands, without letting go. "Now I can die in peace," Jacob said softly, "since I have seen for myself that you are still alive." The story of Joseph. 13 years from the pit to the palace. 13 years of valleys, of cisterns and slave markets, of prisons and forgotten promises, of faithfulness in the dark. Do you remember Psalm 23? "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me." Joseph walked through that valley, not around it, through it. And at every step, every single step, the scripture says the same quiet thing. The Lord was with Joseph. In Potiphar's house, in the prison, in the dungeon, in the forgotten years. The shepherd of Psalm 23 was the same God who walked with Joseph through every dark valley. He did not remove the pit. He did not bypass the prison. He walked through them with Joseph. Every single step. Whatever valley you are walking through tonight, whatever pit feels like your current address, whatever prison, seen or unseen, feels like it has no door, the same shepherd is with you. Not standing at the edge of the valley, waiting for you to emerge. In it, with you, at every step. Joseph could not see where he was going. He could only be faithful with what was in front of him. And the shepherd saw the whole road. Let that be enough for tonight. You do not need to see the end of the road. You just need to know who is walking with you. Rest now. Your story is not over. The valley is not the final word. Goodness and mercy are still following you all the days of your life. Sleep now. You are held. You are known. You are loved.